Hey Grande Alive, this is your weekly Newsish Roundup brought to you by Grande Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Anything to Digital, EONI, Valley Realty, Country Financial, and Les Schwab Tire Center. Michael Byrne is a stonemason. He was born in the Dells and is a longtime resident of the Hood River area. He's been a local ski instructor, a teacher, a coach, a Catholic church member, and a longtime elected member of the Hood River PTA. Before Obamacare, he never had health care. When he was sick, he paid with cash. He dresses in a simple blazer with a cotton undershirt, and from his slight frame, you wouldn't guess he carries brakes and crafts massive stones all day for a living. He's a human being, just like you and me, an everyman. But what may or may not make him different than you and me is that he's irately frustrated and fed up with Greg Walden, our local District 2 politician who's never ever here and doesn't represent our interests, he said.
I grew up in the Dalles, same place Greg Walden grew up. He moved to Hood River. I moved to Hood River. He went to Washington, D.C. I stayed in Hood River. I taught kids how to ski. I coached soccer, coached the middle school basketball teams, 3 different teams in Hood River County. So how I would differentiate myself from Greg Walden is very simple. Let's go back 20 years, Greg, and let's see what you've done over the last 20 years. Let's put it on paper. Let's put it on video. Let's delineate it, let's write it down, let's get it out there for people. And then look at what I've done over the last 20 years. And I actually amaze myself at what I've done over 20 years. I'm out there, I sail, I climb, I play music, I'm in a band, I'm a grandfather, I travel, I talk to people, you know, I'm in the world.
There's certain people you can tell are brimming with passion at any given moment. It's in the eyes. And Michael is one of those people. And though Grande Alive doesn't necessarily agree with his opinions about Walden and otherwise, his interview was full of passion and care for the people of his small district in Nation, Oregon. And so he's running for office. He's not a long-time politician, though, and he's just like you and me. And he's fed up with the money and power saturating the public system, he said. It takes the voice away from the everyday folks, he said, especially the underprivileged.
It's the money. We live in the greatest system in the world. People talk about the Electoral College, you know, blah, blah. I'm good with that. The reason I love the Constitution is because everybody is treated equally. Supposedly, until Citizens United. All of a sudden, money and corporations, they have personhood. What? Anything you do to amplify a vote should be suspect and should be regulated, which means if I can spend $10 million on ads, and Greg Walden will spend $10 million on ads when he sees how close I am to taking his seat away.
Now, Byrne is running against Greg Walden. When I asked, he said he didn't quite know how he was going to get there. But ultimately, he said that if he won, all his votes would go toward giving people equal opportunity.
The very first thing I would do would sign on and co-sponsor House Resolution 676, which is Medicare for all. We've got to have a start. And the second thing I would do is I would, well, do everything I could. All my votes would be cast to help children, to keep us out of wars, and to eliminate the burning of fossil fuels, which means eliminate all the subsidies for the extraction. Level the playing field. We don't have to subsidize solar. Solar can compete on its own. But what the biggest thing is, I found this out, just being a candidate, Will, all of a sudden I'm part of a discussion that people are having. I actually can do something for the common good by keeping the discussion going, elevating it, bringing it places, getting people together. I'm so looking forward to this meeting tonight.
If you'd like to know more about Michael and his stance, you can visit his website. The entirety of his interview will be available on the Grande Alive for you to watch. And by the way, Greg Walden, if you're out there, we'd love to have you into the studio to chat about why you think you do represent us well here in Eastern Oregon. This story was brought to you by Did you know that there are companies that analyze your credit card data and debit card spending records? Now hold on, shotgun, put away your slugs. It's not the government or someone trying to sell you some cheap kitchen appliance. You don't need to shoot anyone. Actually, it's companies that are dedicated to helping our community better do business by seeing where we're spending our money. And Buxton is one of those companies. And several years ago, the city of Grande hired Buxton to find out what kind of items people were buying locally, what kind of items people are traveling out of town to buy, and what people from other areas travel to our area to buy.
the 3 different reports that are used for that modeling, or the 3 types of data, are also data that we can draw from to create reports that would help an individual business. So for instance, one of the reports is a surplus and leak report. And that's the report that you're talking about, where it shows, you know, compared to a national trend, this is the amount of leakage going out of our area.
And leakage is money that we spend out of the area.
Yep.
Okay.
Or surplus, which is people coming into our area to purchase things.
Okay.
That was Christine Jarsky. She's the Union County representative for the Buxton study the city did several years ago, and Brent sat down with her on Brent Chats this week to talk to her about Buxton. Now, most of the information she gives us is pretty general. What kind of economic areas we spend in, what kind of food we eat, those kinds of things. But some of it's very detailed. Did you know we can tell what kind of mascara women are buying within a 20-mile radius? And the trend information can be helpful. It can tell us, for instance, how Eastern Oregon differs from the national average on spending. Did you know that in Eastern Oregon, we're 10% higher than the national average in hunting sales? We're also 20% lower on buying yoga supplies. It seems pretty straightforward, I know, but ultimately it's all very helpful for new and outside businesses to know if their store would succeed in our valley, including restaurants.
So one of the things we could do if you're a restaurant, we can look at the types of restaurants that people are going to.
Okay.
And we can see, okay, is our community more likely to go to a family-style restaurant or a fast food restaurant? And which type of food are they more interested in?
Interesting.
So, you know, how might I want to adjust the format of my business,
Your
or
menu, or
the
the
menu?
hours, or okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, it's a lot of data, and it takes some training to be able to decipher it. But if you're a current or possible local business owner and would like to know what this study says about your business, Christine said she'd be happy to sit down with you for free. The rest of this interview will be available on the Grande Live in full. This story was brought to you by
Swap, the best value tires anywhere, and that's our promise.
And here's your weekly sports spotlight with Ronaldo Bond from the Observer newspaper.
I'm Ronald Bond with the LaGrande Observer for LaGrandeLive.tv, and you're watching Prep Sports Stuff, also known as the High School Sports Spotlight. The LaGrande football team shook off its loss to Sunnyside and topped Ontario in a shootout in the Tiger Bowl Friday, 43-38. Andrew Peasley did his thing again with almost 400 yards of offense and 5 touchdowns. G.T. Blackman had a touchdown reception and almost 170 yards, and Cade Reed caught 2 touchdowns for the Tigers, who moved to 3-1, headed into their final non-league game Friday against the Dalles. Also winning this week was Wallowa taking out Joseph 48-12 in its Old Oregon League opener. Enterprise thumped Imbler 40-8, but the surprise team might be Cove, who beat Powder Valley 40-14 for its 3rd win, tripling its win total from 2016. Alex Drafunder and Tim Stevens again turned in a 1-2 performance for the Union Cove cross-country team, this time at the Bob Furman Invitational, leading the Bobcats to a 4th place finish. And on the girls' side, Kyla Hook took 5th individually, as the Enterprise girls took 4th to just edge out Union Cove, which took 5th. And indoor on the volleyball courts, the team that stood out this past week was Powder Valley, which earned 4 wins in Old Oregon League play, including a win at Joseph to move into 1st place in the Old Oregon League. In addition to LaGrande's trip to the Dalles this weekend, a couple of other football games to keep an eye out for are Joseph at Powder Valley, where the loser will likely see its playoff hopes take a major hit, and up north, Echo at Wallowa, where the winner moves into 1st place. And Saturday on the soccer pitch are a couple of huge games as the LaGrande soccer team on both the boys and girls side welcomes in Ontario. That's all we have time for this week. Be sure to pick up a copy of The Observer every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Check us out at LaGrandeObserver.com. Follow me on Twitter at LGOBond, and get out to the events this weekend. This is Ronald Bond for the Observer and LaGrandeLive.tv, signing out.
And here's your Around the Mountain in 90 seconds with Ian and Chris, your EOU Sports.
I'm Chris Duarte.
And I'm Ian Dexter.
Welcome to Around the Mountain in 90 seconds. Let's go.
The
EOU football team ran into a buzzsaw on Saturday at number 5 Montana Tech, falling 62-14 to the host Ore Diggers. Junior wide receiver Brennan Kelly led the offense with 7 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it was not enough against undefeated Tech. EOU next has the bye week, followed by hosting Montana State Northern on October 7th for homecoming. There.
EOU volleyball split 2 games over the weekend against NCU and Corbin. On Friday, the Mounties swept the Beacons, hitting 269 and slammed down 48 kills. Saturday was a different story as number 16 Corbin defeated the Mounties in straight sets. Isabel Stackton led the squad with 11 kills, and freshman libero Kylie McMurtry was also voted CCC Defender of the Week for her weekend performance, averaging 4.33 per set in both matches. EOU played Walla Walla Thursday, followed by number 8 CFI this Friday in Quinn Coliseum at 7 p.m.
Women's soccer had a perfect 2-0 week at home and was rewarded with the Cascade Collegiate Conference Red Lion Team of the Week award. After falling behind 1-0 to Northwest, the Mounties got 2 second-half goals by Natalie Mitchell in the 47th minute and Anna Rauslander in the 80th minute to win 2-1. On Saturday against Evergreen, Yasmin Mukerdam netted her first goal of the year in the 61st minute as EOU snuck by the Goo Ducks.
Men's soccer tied Northwest 1-1 after double OT Friday, then lost to Evergreen 3-1 on Saturday. Against Northwest, Julie Wells knocked his second goal of the season, and Allison Tears led the team with 6 shots. Saturday, both teams got on the board within the first 6 minutes, but eventually the Gooey Ducks took over, going up 3-1 in the 54th. Both the men's and women's teams stay home this weekend against games with Carroll and Providence.
Men's and women's cross-country teams are back in action at the Willamette Invitational on Saturday in Salem, Oregon.
That's a wrap for us here at EOU Athletics. Join us next week as we take you around the mountain in about 90 seconds.
For more information, visit us at eousports.com.
And here's your Around the Mountain. I don't know what I'm doing here. And that's your weekly Newsish Roundup. This roundup was brought to you by Grande Hospital, Anything to Digital, EONI, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Valley Realty, Country Financial, and Les Schwab Tire Center. Please like and share the video and tune into LaGrandeLive.tv for more local content. I'm Will Bowman.